The story begins inside a prison in Beirut, where a team of cameramen approaches a guard and requests permission to record an event. The guard agrees and leads them to witness a brutal fight taking place inside the prison. A massive and intimidating man named Peter is seen fighting against 3 other inmates at the same time. With overwhelming strength and aggression, Peter brutally defeats all 3 opponents while a cameraman records every moment of the violence. Elsewhere, a wealthy and powerful millionaire named Breck watches this footage with great amusement. Clearly impressed by Peter's brutality, Breck orders his team to bring the man to him. Soon after, Breck's men arrive at the prison, pay a large sum of money to the warden, and leave with Peter as their prisoner. It is later revealed that Breck is planning to launch a deadly and illegal reality show. His plan involves recruiting 10 of the world's most dangerous criminals from third-world countries and transporting them to a deserted island. There, they will be forced to fight each other to the death. Only one person will survive, and the winner will receive a massive cash prize along with complete freedom to start a new life. We are then introduced to Breck's production team, which includes Goldie, the lead technician, as well as other crew members such as Eddie, Bella, and Breck's girlfriend, Julie. They operate from a highly secured and isolated base, where they have installed numerous hidden cameras and microphones all around a nearby island where the deadly show will take place. Sometime later, all the selected criminals are brought in. Among them are Peter, a psychopathic British mercenary named Ewan, a Mexican criminal couple, Paco and his wife Rosa, a Japanese contestant named Saiga, a Ghanaian contestant named Yasanta, and an American drug dealer named Creston. There is also a German man named Helmut and an Italian contestant named Dominic. Finally, there is Jack Conrad, an American inmate who has been serving his sentence in a brutal El Salvadorian prison for the past year. After everyone is assembled, the head of security, Baxter, explains the rules of the game. He reveals that each contestant will be fitted with an ankle bracelet containing a bomb. The device includes a tracking system and a 30-hour countdown timer, which will automatically detonate once the time runs out. If any contestant manually pulls the red tab on the device, the bomb will activate with a 10-second delay before exploding. Following this announcement, the criminals are loaded onto a helicopter and flown toward a remote island in the South Pacific. Before forcing them to jump, Baxter places the keys to their handcuffs inside their mouths and orders them to leap into the water below. One by one, the criminals obey. However, when it is Dominic's turn, he panics and protests. In the chaos, he accidentally falls onto a sharp spike, resulting in his instant death. When it is Jack's turn, he defiantly refuses to open his mouth and suddenly elbows Baxter in the face. Furious by this act of defiance, Baxter retaliates by throwing Jack out of the helicopter without giving him the keys to unlock his cuffs. Once on the beach, chaos erupts almost immediately. Yasanta is attacked by Helmut, who tries to overpower and assault her as Breck and his team watch the situation unfold with disturbing amusement. After a fierce struggle, Yasanta manages to fight back. She grabs a tree branch, stabs Helmut, and then quickly activates the bomb on his ankle before running away. Moments later, Helmut explodes. Thrilled by the violence, Breck announces that the live stream has already reached 5 million viewers. However, he is not satisfied and sets his sights on reaching 40 million viewers, a goal that Goldie believes is unrealistic. Elsewhere on the island, Jack notices that Paco is following him. He hides behind some rocks and attacks Paco by surprise. Paco quickly explains that he does not want to fight and is only trying to find his wife. Jack lets him go, and in return, Paco hands him the keys to his cuffs, which surprisingly also unlock Jack's restraints. Not far away, Creston grows desperate and refuses to participate in what he calls a stupid game. He frantically tries to remove the bomb from his ankle so he can escape. When he notices a hidden camera nearby, he becomes enraged and smashes it to pieces. Shortly afterward, Saiga encounters Ewan and immediately attempts to attack him. Ewan convinces Saiga that they should form an alliance and work together to eliminate the other contestants. Meanwhile, Jack runs into Peter once again. Jack insists that he does not want to fight, but Peter refuses to back down and launches an attack. The two men tumble down a steep slope while fighting. During the struggle, Jack realizes that Peter's ankle bomb has already been activated. Acting quickly, Jack grabs a stone and knocks Peter off the edge of a cliff. Peter explodes in midair. By this time, the viewer count has climbed to 12 million. Breck orders his team to replay Peter's death in slow motion to entertain the audience. Back in the United States, an FBI agent named Brad is closely monitoring the broadcast while his team works to identify the location of the illegal show. They manage to identify the two American participants, Creston, who was arrested in Malaysia, and Jack, a retired U.S. Army soldier. Jack had a former girlfriend named Sarah, who is now divorced and raising 2 children. She has been searching for Jack for over a year. Shortly after, Sarah receives a call from the FBI informing her about the deadly game involving Jack. She is left completely shocked. Sarah rushes to her workplace, borrows a colleague's laptop, and logs into the broadcast. After paying a $50 membership fee, she gains access to the live stream. She is horrified to see Jack's profile filled with disturbing lies, falsely stating that he is a KKK member who bombed a clinic for disabled people before fleeing to El Salvador. Back on the island, Paco and Rosa finally reunite and embrace each other with relief and joy. However, their happiness is short-lived when Saiga and Ewan suddenly ambush them. They break Paco's leg with a tree branch and tie him to a tree. They then proceed to assault Rosa. At the base, Julie is horrified by what she sees and begs Breck to stop the broadcast. Breck refuses. Even Goldie becomes deeply disturbed and can no longer watch, which disappoints Breck. Meanwhile, Eddie and Bella continue to support him and openly express how much they enjoy their work. After abusing Rosa in front of Paco, Saiga and Ewan activate her ankle bomb, killing her. When they turn around, they discover that Paco has managed to escape. Later, Jack finds Paco crying and mourning the loss of his wife. Jack attempts to comfort him. Elsewhere, Ysanta and Creston encounter each other and begin fighting, but Creston insists that he does not want to hurt her and only wants help removing the bomb from his ankle. Meanwhile, Paco asks Jack for help in killing the 2 men responsible for his wife's death. Jack refuses, explaining that he is not there to hurt anyone and that all he wants is to survive and find a way out. Jack explains that all he wants is to find a radio so he can contact his girlfriend back home. Back at the base, Breck realizes that Ewan and Saiga are proving to be the most ruthless contestants. Seeing an opportunity to increase the chaos and viewer engagement, he orders his team to drop a supply bag for them using a helicopter. The 2 men soon locate the bag and are thrilled to discover that it is filled with guns and knives. Meanwhile, Jack cleverly disables the tracking signal from the bomb on his ankle by jamming it with 2 pieces of iron, making him undetectable. He then says goodbye to Paco and sets off on his mission to find a radio. Back in the United States, the FBI uncovers Jack's background. They learn that he spent 14 years serving in the Delta Special Forces. Although officially retired, Jack had gone to El Salvador undercover to dismantle a major drug ring. During the mission, he killed several drug dealers and was eventually arrested by local authorities, who were unaware of his true identity or the fact that he was working for the U.S. government. Elsewhere, Goldie informs Breck that they are unable to locate Jack anywhere on their surveillance systems. Breck quickly realizes that Jack must be heading toward their base, which is the only location where no cameras have been installed. Before long, Jack reaches the radio tower. He knocks out a guard and makes his way into the control room. There, he finds a phone and immediately calls Sarah. She is furious that he disappeared for an entire year, but Jack explains that the situation is complicated and reassures her that he loves her deeply. He gives her information about his bank account and asks her to secure the money in case he does not survive. Sarah tells him that the FBI has been trying to track his location, so Jack looks at a monitor and shares the island's coordinates with her. Suddenly, Breck's team cuts off all communication lines. Guards storm the area and open fire on Jack, but he manages to dodge their attacks and escape into the jungle. Back in the United States, Sarah immediately contacts Agent Brad and gives him the island's coordinates. Brad relays the information to his team, reminding them that even after spending a year in prison, Jack never betrayed his superiors. Now, he believes it is their responsibility to rescue him. On the island, Ysanta and Creston are seen sitting together near a campfire. Ysanta begins to seduce him, and Creston opens up about how he was arrested in Malaysia after trusting the wrong woman. When Creston turns around, Yasanta is suddenly gone, and his ankle device starts beeping rapidly. It becomes clear that Yasanta has triggered his bomb and fled. Moments later, Creston is killed by the explosion. At the base, the crew reacts with laughter as the viewer count reaches 20 million. They then watch live footage of Ewan and Saiga locating Paco and brutally attacking him. Goldie is deeply disturbed by what he sees and steps outside to vomit. Julie follows him and says that they have to put an end to this madness. Goldie agrees. Together, they confront Breck and demand that he stop the show, insisting that everything has gone too far. Breck dismisses them, calling Goldie ungrateful and reminding him how much money he is being paid. He forces Goldie to return to work and violently lashes out at Julie for opposing him. Elsewhere, Ewan and Saiga continue tormenting Paco when Jack suddenly appears and orders them to stop. They refuse, and Paco is fatally wounded. Ewan reveals that he is also former military, claiming that he and Jack are alike. Jack rejects this, insisting they are nothing alike. Ewan then cruelly ends Paco's life, and a furious Jack swears that he will make them pay. The following morning, Jack confronts Saiga and attacks him using an iron bar. Ewan allows the fight to continue for a short time, but when Saiga begins to lose, he intervenes. Jack retreats and hides inside a small shed, where Yasanta suddenly appears and attacks him. Jack manages to overpower her. Outside, Ewan and Saiga prepare to burn down the shed using Molotov cocktails. Jack tries to help Yasanta escape, but she decides she has had enough and activates her bomb. Jack barely manages to escape the explosion, though everyone believes he has been killed. With no other contestants left, Ewan and Saiga turn on each other to determine the winner. Saiga tries to flee, but Jack suddenly reappears and attacks him. During the fight, Ewan joins in, but Jack manages to overpower both of them. He kills Saiga, while Ewan escapes. Soon after, Breck orders another supply drop for Ewan, which contains a shotgun. Armed and confident, Ewan begins firing at Jack, who takes cover behind rocks. In the confusion, Ewan accidentally kills two cameramen disguised in ghillie suits. Jack eventually ambushes him from behind, and the two engage in another brutal fight. Ewan ultimately gains the advantage, stabs Jack, and pushes him off a rocky ledge into the water below. He tries to shoot again, but realizes the gun is empty. Jack is seen floating in the water, appearing lifeless. Sarah is devastated by what she sees, while Breck celebrates as the viewer count finally reaches 40 million. Shortly after, Baxter approaches Breck and informs him that the U.S. military is on its way. Breck decides to flee the base with Baxter without warning the rest of his crew. Goldie discovers Breck's plan and confronts him, refusing to be abandoned. Breck attempts to silence him by offering $1 million, but this only angers Goldie, as it is far less than what was promised. When Goldie tries to stop him, Baxter quickly overpowers him and kills him. Moments later, Ewan arrives at the base as the official winner. Baxter removes the bomb from his leg. Ewan demands his promised reward, but Breck refuses, telling him he should be grateful just to be free. An argument breaks out, but Breck ignores him and leaves with Baxter. Elsewhere, it is revealed that Jack is still alive, though badly injured, and he slowly begins to rise. At the same time, Ewan descends into a violent frenzy, killing the remaining guards. He storms into the operations room and demands that Bella reveal the location of their boss. When Ewan demands the location of Breck from Bella, she admits that she has no idea where he is. Without hesitation, Ewan brutally shoots her, killing her on the spot. Meanwhile, outside the facility, Jack is confronted by Breck and Baxter, who hold him at gunpoint. Jack reacts quickly, disarming Baxter and shooting him multiple times, killing him instantly, while a terrified Breck flees the scene. Elsewhere inside the base, Ewan also kills Eddie. When he turns his attention toward Julie, Jack suddenly appears behind him. Realizing he is trapped, a frightened Ewan drops his weapon and claims that he was forced to participate in the game and that he killed all those people against his will. Jack refuses to believe him and shows no mercy, shooting Ewan repeatedly until he is dead. Afterward, Jack and Julie chase Breck, who runs toward a cliff and manages to board a helicopter. Jack fires several shots at the helicopter, but none of them hit their target. Just as it seems that Breck is going to escape, Julie hands Jack Ewan's ankle bomb. Jack throws the device into the helicopter. Breck desperately reaches for it, but seconds later, the bomb detonates, causing the helicopter to explode and crash into the cliff, killing him. With Breck dead, the violent and deadly game finally comes to an end. Julie then gives Jack a pin, allowing him to deactivate the bomb on his ankle. Sometime later, the story concludes with Jack driving back home in the United States and reuniting with Sarah as a free man. If you love this explanation, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks.